Hello and welcome to the Sports Bench with Greg and friends. Tonight's episode, we're back on talking about the Los Angeles Lakers now that the NBA draft is gone and over with and free agency is coming to a close. We still don't know where LeBron James is going, but my broadcast tonight is mostly dealing with the Los Angeles Lakers and all the changes that have happened in the last week with them. So let's start out with talking about as soon as free agency opened on a Monday. The Lakers were really quick to sign Austin Reeves to a 4-year, $185 million contract, which equates out to about $46 million a year. A big raise considering that he was making about $14 million a year. But when he signed before with the Lakers, he took a discount. He didn't take as much money as he could have gotten because he wanted to play for the Lakers. So in this particular case, I think the Lakers were early to jump the gun on this because they were afraid that the New Jersey Nets were going to step in and they were going to sign him to a max contract. So the Lakers right away signed him immediately to this contract. And, you have to kind of evaluate Austin Reeves. And the way I evaluate Austin Reeves is he a superstar to get a max player like this contract of this nature? And you have to think about it. He is a fabulous offensive player. He can shoot very well, pass very well. He can handle the ball. He gets all kinds of odd shots off from different angles and makes them and gets to the free throw line. He is an offensive power force, him and Luka Doncic in the same backcourt. So very, very wonderful as far as the combination with them running the offense. However, Austin Reeves always has the Achilles heel is that he's not been a very good defensive player. He just isn't. And most of the other teams that come and play against the Lakers target him, hunt him on pick and rolls to try to get him on a big man down low, which is very successful. A lot of times, if it's executed correctly, the big man rolls right to the basket, gets about 10 feet away from the basket, gets the ball, and can score over Austin, unless he gets help from someone else. So that leaves the three-point line open. So anyway, the Lakers have put quite a bit of money, quite a bit of eggs in this basket to keep Austin Reeves around for another 4 years. So let's talk about LeBron real quick. All right. So, the stories have been going out, the narratives have been going out that he came back after celebrating the victory they had with the Cavaliers in 2016, winning the finals. This team somewhere celebrating this. And the story goes that he came back and he decided to just tell the Lakers that, I'm not going to play for you anymore. But I think the true narrative here is that the Lakers, after signing Austin Reeves especially, and already in their mind knew that they weren't going to have any money to offer LeBron James. Even if they wanted to offer him a contract, there's no way that they would or they could because it just doesn't make sense to bring him back. So I think basically what happened is when LeBron got back, his agent came forward, Rich Paul, and said, hey, what do you got for my man? And I think the Lakers just said, well, no, we don't have anything for your man. We don't have to put all of our money someplace else. So to change the narrative and make it sound right, it's like LeBron made the decision to leave. But I think in the overall presence of all things, I think he basically just got fired. And, that doesn't look good. But, it's all about image with LeBron. He's a media junkie, he's all over the media all the time. So never do you want a narrative where someone quit on him. It has to be the other way around. So anyway, regardless, we don't have to talk about LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers anymore because there isn't a pack together anymore. So good luck to LeBron. Hope you end up with somebody that really needs you, needs your scoring ability, your being able to set up players and passing. There are several teams out there that could use you as a point. And good luck to you. All right, let's get back to the Lakers. And then the problems with having Austin Reeves on defense is that this all happens because the Lakers don't really defend the pick and roll very well. In fact, they really don't defend it at all. When there's a pick and roll set by a big, he rolls to the basket. An offensive player switches from his position, which is probably guarding a guard, and then he has to guard a center down low, and it just doesn't work very well. Actually, we're seeing in the Summer League right now, teams are doing the same thing, except they're just not executing very well. They haven't played together very well. But in the case of Cameron Carr, He's 6'4.5". He's about 175, 185 pounds. He's not very big. Doesn't have a lot of muscle. He has length, but what happens is they do the same thing. They hunt him, put a big on him, roll him down to the basket, and I've seen it several times happen. But the other team has not executed very well. That pass has to be really quick and immediate, and so you see the teams even in summer league going against the Lakers and hunting their bad defensive players. And really, in the free agent market that the Lakers picked up, there's only a couple of players on the team that I think are 3-and-D players. Now, Grimes might be that guy, but he had a kind of an off year, and defensively he wasn't as good as he was when he was in Dallas. So I don't know if they've really solved the problem. They didn't re-sign Rui Hachimura. They could have got him back probably about $14 million a year, but I think they're running ahead and they're going to run with Kuminga. They're trying to get him for a 2-year contract at about $20 million. Trying to work out a trade situation with Atlanta so they can make this all work. But Kuminga, the jury's out with him too. Is he a good defensive player? He's a more athletic wing than Rui. Definitely can get up the floor faster, but that goes along with saying that, is he going to commit to playing defense? Is he going to be aggressive playing defense against one of the key players on the other team? So that's kind of a question mark. I mean, one of the first things I said with the Lakers when they entered this year, when they got to free agency and drafting, is I said they need to get younger. And that was automatically a hint that LeBron needs to go. And I think they made that decision because now all the players meet the timeline of Luka Doncic, which is around 28 to 26 years old. There's no player older than 28. So you got about a good 5 to 8 years with this core running in the future. But my question is this core good enough? What determines all these things is how quickly they can start playing together. So next year we're going to find out, especially we're going to find out whether this team is locked in to be able to play defensive well, because they're going to have to play defense against these quick teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Spurs. These guys are all young teams. They're well coached. They play defense at aggressive level. They're very, very fast. And I don't know if the Lakers can match up against that with their present team, even if they get Kuminga, whether or not this team is going to be an ultra-aggressive defensive teams when your two best players, the most expensive players you have on the roster, don't play defense. That includes Luka Doncic. He doesn't play defense either, and it's more of a choice. These guys, I've always said defense is a choice. You have to make yourself believe that you can play defense, and you just have to be aggressive. You have to just execute. And these guys aren't interested in doing that. So how far they're going to get, I don't know. It's a real big if, because this team is cemented now for the next 6 years. They have probably no draft capital left as of this moment. They still have a number 1 pick, but I don't know if that number 1 pick is going to get traded with try to get Kuminga, because it seems like Rob Pelinka has no problem with trading the future away, all the draft capital they have, so they can win now. So that is definitely the mode that they're in right now with the roster. They're young, so they have a number of years to develop and play together. Maybe they will get better. Maybe they will get to the finals. I really don't know. It's kind of a question mark right now because we're just going to have to see how they play. And that leads me to the other situation is J.J. Redick. So is J.J. Redick the right coach for this group? When J.J. Redick had LeBron on board, LeBron was making all the decisions on playing. He went, it was like clockwork. He'd play the first 6 minutes of a quarter, and then he'd go out of the game, and then with 2 minutes left, he'd jump off the bench and come back in. He made that decision, not J.J. Redick. J.J. Redick was not coaching him. He decided to decide when he's going to come in, when he's going to go out, and that was it, and then decide how much he's going to play in the fourth quarter. Now without LeBron there forcing the issue, how will J.J. Redick respond? When you think about the last 2 years of J.J. Redick coaching, the first year they got into the playoffs and they had a good run. They had like 17, 18 games where they had won a lot. Jackson Hayes was part of that because he's an athletic big and he could move quickly. and he can jump, and he definitely a lob threat, and he was part of that. But when he got into the playoffs, and we got to about the third and fourth game of the playoffs, J.J. Redick decided that, no, I think this guy, Jackson Hayes, is a detriment to us. So I'm going to go ahead and bench him. So they didn't have any bigs as it was. So what ends up happening? Well, they didn't get that fourth game, and they played the whole team, the five guys, the entire last half of the game. Think about that. In the modern NBA, playing five players for an entire half, especially with LeBron, who's 40 years old, that was a big coaching mistake. And I think it came back to haunt them. They lost. Excuse me. Then you talk about the second year getting into the playoffs. They have injuries. Now, the same time of the season at the very end, J.J. Redick was playing both Austin Reeves and Doncic in a game, and they both had injuries. Doncic was reaching for his hamstring, and Reeves was reaching for the back of his back and running up and down the floor hurting. So what did Redick do? He left him in the game, and that probably continued the injury to be worse for both of them. They were already down to the Oklahoma City Thunder by 20 points. Why do you keep playing them? Take them out. But he didn't, and they ended up missing most of the playoffs, and when that happened, it just went downhill. So my opinion is J.J. Redick might not be the coach for the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll find out next year how well he coaches this group. He's definitely not a player's coach. He likes to embarrass players in the middle of a game if they make a mistake, like Rui did one time. He yanked him from the game and benched him, and that got mentioned in the national media, and he just played that off. But you don't embarrass your players. You don't do things that are detrimental to winning. And that's kind of what I think J.J. Redick has done in the last 2 years. There have been stages where he's been brilliant, no doubt, but at the other time, he just doesn't have the experience. I think myself, and this is my opinion, I think myself that Scott Brooks sitting next to him would be a better head coach. Scott Brooks was a head coach for the Oklahoma City Thunder when they had Kevin Durant and they had Russell Westbrook and they had James Harden. They got to the finals. They were there, but they lost. But they were there. They were coached well. Their team was coached well by Scott Brooks. So in my opinion, I think this team, being young like it is, everybody about the same age, and with Luka Doncic, I think they need a more steady force at coach, not a guy that's going to run off half-cocked sometimes. So I think Scott Brooks is more of a level-headed kind of coach, kind of like Steve Kerr with the Golden State Warriors, and I think that might be a help. But once again, just jumping the gun, but I'm just saying, what I've seen so far in 2 years, I just don't know if Redick is going to be the guy. So we'll find out. All right, well, that's my video for tonight. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, please give me a like. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be great. You guys have a great night. I will talk to you on my next video. Bye-bye.